It's 11:30. Welcome to Newsroom here on GHOne Television. We're live from our studios at the Platinum Place, North Ridge. Also live on Facebook, on X, and on YouTube at GHOne TV. Here's what to expect in the next 60 minutes. Doctors allegedly refusing posting to some regions as Health Minister issues 1-week extension for them to report. We'll check with some health facilities in the Upper East region where not a single doctor has so far reported. Also, Vehicle Embossment Association of Ghana petitions Transport Ministry to halt DVLA's digital plates rollout. We'll engage them shortly and get their thoughts on the matter. Consumers split heads over PURC's announced upward review in electricity and water tariffs effective January 2026. And on the foreign front, Mozambique violence forces 100,000 to flee as displacement crisis deepens. Morning, I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. The details: Minister of Health Mensah has given newly posted medical doctors an additional week to report to their duty stations following what he described as an alarming nationwide refusal to take up positions. Addressing journalists in Accra, the minister disclosed that in the Upper West region alone, 25 out of 32 posted doctors had not reported, a development he warned could jeopardize healthcare delivery for nearly 1 million residents. He, however, noted that the ministry is working with local authorities to make the districts more accommodating for the doctors.
Government's policy to send medical officers into the district should not be misconstrued or be seen as punishment. It should be seen as an equitable distribution of our health workforce. And we are posting the medical doctors where they are needed most. And therefore, I am very confident that these newly posted medical doctors will respond to our call to save and serve Mother Ghana. I have seen from the update that regions like Upper West and Upper East are recording 0 as at Friday. We will give them additional 1 week to appeal to them to report to their various facilities where they have been posted, after which we will do what we call validation. Unfortunately, there's no way we are going to change anything here. And so we will give them 1 more week to report to their various health facilities, whilst we are also engaging the stakeholders in their respective districts, regional ministers, members of parliament, DCs, chiefs, to facilitate their stay in their district to be able to give up their best. Government's policy to send medical officers into the district should not be misconstrued or be seen as punishment. it should be seen as an equitable distribution of our health workforce. And we are posting the medical doctors where they are needed most. And therefore, I am very confident that these newly posted medical doctors will respond to our call to save and serve Mother Ghana. I have seen from the update that regions like Upper West and Upper East are recording 0 as at Friday. We will give them additional 1 week to appeal to them to report to their various facilities where they have been posted, after which we will do what we call validation. Unfortunately, there's no way we are going to change anything here. And so we will give them 1 more week to report to their various health facilities, whilst we are also engaging the stakeholders in their respective districts, regional ministers, members of parliament, DCEs, chiefs, to facilitate their stay in their district to be able to give up their best.
Well, let's go on the phone lines now and speak to Kasim Matongo, who is our Upper East Regional Correspondent, to get further understanding of what really pertains on the ground. Kasim, thank you for joining us. So, which hospitals have you visited and what's the situation there with regards the newly posted doctors? Because we are told that as at Friday, none of the 35 who have been posted to the region showed up.
Good morning. This morning, I visited Quality Medical Center. That particular place is a private facility. So I proceeded to Boku Presbyterian Hospital, where that is meant for government who help workers to be there. And as we speak now, that hospital, due to the conflict between the Mampus and the Kusas in the area, that hospital is not more functional like it used to be. So as we speak now, I am on my way to the regional hospital in the Bogatanga to find out whether what the minister said during the press briefing is really reflecting, or have they reported, or it was oversight. So this is where I am now on my way to the regional hospital.
Quite interesting. But Kasim, what's the conversation in town like? Because I'm sure that after the minister revealed that the doctors who were posted to the region have not reported as at Friday, exactly what is the conversation in the region regarding this particular situation like?
Yes. So, when we heard this news, some of the people in the area here, it wasn't new to them because last year, like this, teachers were posted here, most particularly Boko and Class. 100 teachers, only 2 reported. The rest refused to come. And then it affects the region. It's part of the regional data. So as they heard this, yes, people are worried about it, but some sections, it is not a new news to them. But what some of them are saying is that shouldn't be the case. Because one, in this era, the health workers, the doctors should come and get the community assist so that they can help them to work together. If they are refusing to come, meaning they are taking Upper East out of Ghana. So that is what some of them are suggesting. But to me, I would say when most of them, it is not new news to them because they've experienced it number without times. But just that people don't come out to tell the public what is actually happened on the ground, just like the minister said.
Very well. So we'll leave you to keep monitoring the events on the grounds to give us a proper picture by close of day today. So that's our man in the Upper East region, Kasim, giving us an update on the situation there. Well, he says that this is not a new phenomenon, especially in the region, because the similar incident happened last year where only 2 out of the doctors who were posted to the area actually showed up. Now, let's get a proper appreciation as well from the medical perspective as to why this situation persists. Richard Salome is the General Secretary for the Ghana Medical Association and he's joining us on phone for a conversation. Richard, thank you for joining us. So really, what is preventing these doctors from showing up at their duty posts?
Well, good afternoon to you and good afternoon to your listeners. I think it's good that we look at this issue from all perspectives. and also not position this as though doctors are refusing postings to places. It starts off with how we recruit doctors within this country. These doctors we are talking about have been at home waiting for some as long as 1.5 years, sitting at home waiting to be posted. Within this period, they have had to find means to survive and earn some living so that they can live. So some definitely would have gone to find jobs, some have gone back to school, some have traveled out of the country. And so it is important that we also appreciate from their perspective. Yes, we made stringent efforts working with the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Finance to secure the clearance to engage them post. However, pull and push factors account for what we are seeing. But first, let me correct that the data most of you are depending on is just only Ghana Health Service, which is barely half, in fact, less than half of the doctors who have been posted. Because there are other agencies who have posted people, and some have even reported and are working. And that is Ghana, the CHAG is the Christian Health Association. What you have seen is the data from the Ghana Health Service, and this was as of last week, which only accounts for barely half of the numbers. Now, back to the issues. The doctors are recruited via different recruitment methods. Ghana Health Service posts them to the regions, and the regions then meet them, tell them what conditions there are, and then post them to specific facilities. Now, many of these regions are now engaging them to tell them what conditions are. For example, if I were to post you to Boku, for example, which we have been informed some doctors have been posted to, there are apprehensions about the security situation on the ground, and it is important that we give some assurance to these people. There are also doctors who have called their facilities, and they are now working on accommodation for them. And so it was not entirely accurate to put it that they have refused posting. They are yet to report, but there are various issues. We as an association are encouraging doctors to report. However, there is another side to this conversation which we must discuss. Saying something, please.
Right. So I just want to find out. So you say that the list out there, the list that the minister was referring to, is from the Ghana Health Service, and that's not a full picture of doctors who've been posted and have not been able to report at duty post. But then earlier you made a comment that, well, some of these doctors have stayed in the house for so long, some have moved on, others are in school, others have traveled. Is it that we don't have a database of doctors who are ready to be posted for them to do their jobs? Is that where we are?
No, I haven't said so, and probably that is your own deduction.
No, I'm just saying that you said that some of the doctors might have moved on, others might have gone to school because they've been in the house for a long time before the posting. Some might have traveled. And I'm asking, do we have a database of doctors who are available for posting?
So thank you. If you would allow me to speak, I'll clarify. One, I said within that waiting period, people were not supposed to just sit at home, fold their arms. They had to feed. They had to live and live. And so people had to engage, some in the private sector, some are working on local basis, and the postings just came. They would have to disengage from these places before they can report to wherever they've been posted. I haven't said that the database is not available. The portal was open and doctors filled the portal and they are being posted. But I am saying, if you keep somebody home for like a long period, 1.5 years, in some cases, 1 year on the average, they would have had to be engaged in various things. Some have gone to school because within that waiting period for which they did not know when they will be posted, they couldn't be sitting there. Some are in school. And so these engagements need to be had. I'm just saying that there are engagements that need to be had. And that is what we are seeking as an association, to work with government to ensure that people accept things to where they will go. On the flip, as I am saying, there are other things as well. For example, if we are posting them to the districts, some are going to places where things to work with is a challenge. Accommodation is a challenge. Accommodation, some are being housed far away from their workplace, and they are required to respond to emergencies in the night at any time. And so we were happy when the minister talked about the fact that He has started engaging the district authorities, the traditional authorities, to make available accommodation and in some cases vehicles, official vehicles, to be used to do this. What we are saying is that let us sit around the table, the ministry, the agencies, and discuss this matter. Let us know what is on the ground. We will speak to our members and encourage them. The regional directors will also then engage them and tell them this and this and this is on the ground, this and that. Those who have already gone, hooray, but those who are yet to go and need some assurances, for example, those who have been posted to Boku, tell them what security arrangements are in place to ensure that they can deliver care in a safe manner for both themselves and the patients as well. Absolutely. And those that are going to places where they feel there's no theater there, and so my theater skills, my surgical skills may be challenged, or I will lose them over time, give them some assurances and tell them, oh, okay, we are going to equip this place and upgrade it to a polyclinic level with a theater so that you'll be able to do this. That way we encourage them. So we will continue encouraging them, but we are also saying there's that other side. The pull factors must also be addressed. Again, we have said that one of the challenges for which sometimes people do not accept postings is the fact that when they finally go, releasing them for postgraduate studies becomes difficult. Right. And so they are stuck in the district. His classmate or colleague moves way ahead of him, becomes a consultant, whilst he's still there as a principal medical officer, getting paid way less than that colleague who stays in Kovanoche or Kolebu or the teaching hospital.
So Richard, clearly there are issues that need to be discussed. But has the ministry reached out to have that engagement with the GMA, for instance, on these really, really concerning issues?
We have had some limited engagements, but we have called that we need to have an urgent meeting to resolve these matters. Right. And there are efforts underway to engage with both the ministry and the various agencies so that we can all work together to attract. Let me assure you that Ghana Medical Association, one of our key things that we look at is how we help to deliver care to the people in this country, those in most need. And before even government began this, we had begun a one district, one doctor initiative, which we piloted in Volta region under the able leadership of our chairman then, who worked when OT region was not getting doctors and people were refusing posting. We put measures in place, like providing a mentor so that when somebody goes there and needs help, he can depend on somebody close by to come and assist him. Also, the chiefs provided some land to attract them. Again, they also made sure that accommodation, which was not available at the time, they provided accommodation. And then the association, working with some actors, provided some little allowance incentives, very little amounts to encourage the people. Right. For 2 slots that were advertised, we had 7. And then subsequently, when we advertised 2 further slots, we had 22, and we had to let people go. Okay. It tells you that it is not that people are not willing to go, but they require just very little incentive to let them go. And so we encourage the ministry that the declaration it has made that rural incentive package will be implemented with a 20% basic salary paid as allowance. They should make good of it. And we are hoping to work and support government to make sure that there will be a doctor at every single district at a minimum in this country to help with healthcare delivery.
Richard, thank you so much for your time this morning. But let's move on from there. Member of Parliament for Pru East, Emmanuel Kwekuboam, has expressed strong concerns about the ongoing issues surrounding this year's WASSCE results, saying the system is becoming unbearable for both students and parents. Now, according to him, the cancellations and withholding of papers are symptoms of deeper structural problems the country has failed to address. He argues that performance in the exams should be separated from politics, insisting that schools cannot be judged fairly when they lack the basic logistics and infrastructure needed for effective teaching and learning.
I want us to decouple performance from politics. We all knew this canker will one day explode. We knew it. Everybody in Ghana, including the parents of our kids, knew that one day, our kids that are being churned out will not be the ones that we preferred or we wanted to have brought them out. This issue of examination malpractice, I posed a question to the minister that the issue of cancellation, withholding of papers for WASSCE students is just unfounded, unbearable. The parents have to go through a lot of struggle together with the student to have ascertain whatever evidence or whatever it is that they are supposed to do. The issue emanates from a certain angle, and that is what we need to tackle. There hasn't been any systematic well-organized, orchestrated examination malpractices than the past government or the reign of the past administration. It is properly orchestrated between institutions. They were hip in line to behave accordingly. How do you come rating students or schools with performance of WASI and tell me that if your student don't perform in WASI, you, the head teacher, you'll be moved? Yet, you have not provided the needed logistics, the needed infrastructure for these head teachers to run the school with. You have a whole lot of students running in between whether shift system, the old, some come morning, others go afternoon, evening, and yet you want the result or the performance to be as before. Numbers are overwhelming. We told them. And when we told them, they felt as if we were against their promises. We were against the flashy program of free SHS. It wasn't because we were against. We were just telling them that the fundamentals are still not right.
All right, so that's the concern among a myriad of concerns being raised post the WASI results we're seeing, especially when it comes to the core subjects. Now, it's raised fundamental questions on how we've managed education over the years. Dr. Arthur Kennedy is a founding member of the New Patriotic Party, and he's joining us via Zoom for a conversation on this. Doc, thank you so much for making time to join us. So, yes, this has raised questions about how we structured free senior high school, among others. What are your initial comments on the results you're seeing for 2025 as opposed to the last 3 or 4 years?
Good morning or good afternoon to your viewers. And thank you for the invitation. I think that these are very concerning. The drop of 20 points in maths, a slide of about 20 in social sciences, and the slide in science subjects all point in the wrong direction. But I want to suggest that there are more fundamental issues than just math and science. If you look at the statement put out by former Education Minister Dr. GHOne and the response from the Ghana Education Service, they saw as a refugee, and I was being admitted to the University of Toronto. I remember being in a dormitory with a British white guy. He asked me about my A-level grades, and I don't want to talk about that publicly, but when I told him, he said, that would have taken you to any medical school in Britain. And I said, yes, I know. That was our reputation. And these back and forth and accusing people of organizing cheating and other people saying some people just want to destroy the legacy of Nada about free SHS is doing reputational damage to Ghana's educational brand. If you look at people who are looking for schools in Britain or North America, these things don't help them. And we need the feeling that to university, they are going to believe that grades for sex and grades for money are all right. They are going to think that false certificates are okay. And they are going to think that unearned income is all right. So we need to go back to the basics and make sure that we establish foundational facts and restore the integrity of our system.
Right. So
we
can now, how would you suggest that we deal with where we find ourselves currently?
I would suggest that there were two possible ways of dealing with that. First, of note, the U.S. has a similar problem, not in education, but in defense. People were being shot. The United States decided to shoot boats, bringing drugs. And there's an incident in which a boat was shot, and they said there was a second shot to kill the survivors. Both parties are condemning that and saying that if that were true, it would be a war crime. I want us to have that kind of attitude. So I would ideally have asked Parliament to look into this. But given the extremely partisan nature, I think that may be the best way for the president to establish a presidential commission that would allow people like Dr. Duchum and the Ghana Education Service staff and heads of CHAS and people like Education Foundation of West Africa and others who have all alleged that they were being intimidated or bullied into helping to cover up cheating to all speak on the oath.
And we'll be bringing you that story a lot right after this break, but stick and stay with us. We'll be right back. For January next year. In a statement signed by its secretary Victor Chumkranting, the association said the DVL's implementation plan lacks proper coordination and risks affecting more than 3,000 workers in the vehicle endorsement sector. VIMAC said it remains the legally recognized body responsible for producing vehicle plates in Ghana and noted that it has previously pre-financed plate production for the DVLA while meeting its tax obligations. The group also claimed that the transition to digital plates appears to prioritize foreign contractors at the expense of local businesses. It further accused the DVLA's leadership of engaging in international negotiations on the project without adequate consultation with domestic stakeholders. VIMAG is calling for a 6-month suspension of the digitalization initiative to allow for better planning, training, and stakeholder engagement, cautioning that moving ahead without these measures could create nationwide disruptions. Well, let's speak to Public Relations Officer for the Vehicle Endorsement Association of Ghana, Patrick Boama Odum. He's joining us on phone for a conversation on this matter. Patrick, thank you for your time this afternoon. So, as it stands now, why are you against the implementation of the digital plates from January? What's the problem there?
Good morning, good afternoon, all viewers. Please, as a government association, which is a vehicle endorsement association, we are not against any implementation of what the government is bringing. Mm-hmm. But what we are saying is it needs to engage in proper engagement with the VEMAT, because we are the Vehicle Endorsement Association and we've embossed this plate since memorial. So all that we are asking for is we need to get time to make a proper planning and also bring in the machines that can be fit for the business that they are talking about.
Right. So as it stands now, right, I just want to find out what has been the level of engagement between you and the DVLA, since you are the ones who are responsible for the plates we see currently.
There hasn't been any proper engagement with us. We haven't engaged them. And we are the major stakeholders, so we are calling the DVLA to have a proper engagement with us, to have a proper planning on what is coming.
What is the danger if this rolls out in January as planned by the DVLA?
The danger is that it's going to give a lot of problems and headaches to the public, because in our normal times, we are supposed to emboss the plates on the November and then deliver it in 20th to the GVLA, so that they also have time to go through it and then start the registration in the following year. But as I'm talking currently, nothing of that has happened. So we are calling that they should hold on first, so that we do this, the current one, to January next year, so that we have a proper time to plan ahead, and then we will start the new one. Because in any business that you start, there is something we call piloting. So therefore, we need to do the piloting, and the piloting will be starting somewhere September, because we believe that in our calendar, September is not a peak time for the DVLA to register cars. So that we'll be able to do those exercises, and then we'll rectify the problems and be able to solve them before our peak time, January 2028.
So if you say there's not been proper engagement between you and the DVLA, and you are responsible currently for the plates we see, then how is the DVLA setting this January timeline for itself to roll out these digital plates? Is it that there are others who are being engaged by the DVLA aside VEMAG?
Yes, thank you very much for this question, because as now currently we don't even know our stand as VEMAG, the Endorsement Association, whether we are the one embossing or not, but we have been embossing since memorial, just like I said. So we don't know if the job is being taken to a different company, as you cannot sideline us just like that, because we've worked for this for long. So,
But have you made these concerns known to the DVLA, and what has been the response?
Sorry?
I'm asking if these concerns you're raising here have been communicated to the DVLA, and what response did you get?
That they are aware that we are the major stakeholders of it, so we emboss it.
I'm saying, have you spoken to the DVLA about your concerns, the fears you raise?
Yes, we try to engage the chief executive a couple of times, but we are not getting him. So currently, as we are talking now, we petition him.
And what's the way forward with this matter?
Well, all that we are asking for is we have to take our time to do proper planning so that we help the country to grow. So we don't need to do things that will bring problems to the country.
Very well.
So
Thank you.
Whatever that they take it from, we don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that in the coming days we'll be hearing from the DVLA as well on their position on the matter and perhaps get some clarity to all of it. But thank you for engaging with us. That's the PRO for the Vehicle Endorsement Association of Ghana, Odum there. But let's move on. And Vice President Professor GHOne Kodjo says government is committed to transforming the Ghana Prison Service into a modern and humane engine for public safety and rehabilitation. Speaking during the graduation parade of Cadet Course Intake 32, Professor Kodjo urged the service to promote a utilitarian criminal justice system that focuses on prevention, reform, and reintegration.
Has been resolute in strengthening the prison service because an effective and well-resourced correctional system is the backbone of public safety. Through sustained investment, from improved logistics to long overdue increase in the daily feeding allowance from 1 cedi 80 pesos to 5 cedis, which has been approved for implementation, government is restoring dignity to our correctional system. His Excellency the President's recent amnesty for 998 inmates is a powerful statement of mercy and a reminder that true justice requires compassion and a belief in second chances. His act also forms part of our broader effort to decongest our facilities, enhance humane conditions, and uphold the spirit of correctional system.
Well, you're still watching news from here on GHOne television with me, Kodjo Mensah. Let's bring you the latest in the world of business.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
This afternoon, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, will begin the implementation of an upward adjustment to electricity and water tariffs on January 1, 2026, following the completion of its 2026 to 2030 multi-year tariff review. According to the PURC, the tariff decision follows months of investment hearings, stakeholder consultations, and regional public fora held across the country as part of the regulatory process. According to the PURC, electricity tariffs for all customer categories will rise by 9.86%. The Commission says the adjustment reflects the investment needs of power utilities, expected generation inputs, and macroeconomic indicators such as inflation, the cedi, US dollar exchange rate, and the cost of natural gas. Now, water tariffs will also increase by 15.92% over the 2026 to 2030 period. The adjustment, according to the PURC, is based on projected production and sales volumes, non-revenue water levels, expected capital investment requirements, and prevailing macroeconomic conditions. Now, for the water sector, the Commission says it considered non-revenue water levels projected to decline to 43% and updated production and sales expectations for the coming years. Well, let's get some reactions from industry players. And Chairman of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, Reverend GHOne has joined me on phone for a conversation. Rev, thank you so much for your time. So basically, what is your reaction to what we are being told from the PURC? Proposed increase in water and electricity from next year.
Welcome and good afternoon to your viewers and then the listeners. And let me start by saying that we are very much appalled by the action of the PURC, the choice of the PURC to increase the tariffs by that margin, even though the margin is relatively very small compared to what the ECG people or the general power sector proposed. You will still say that we are very much appalled by that because doesn't matter the percentage increment. What is very important, which we presented a petition to His Excellency the President, a petition to the Honorable Minister of Energy, and same to the Energy Sector Committee in Parliament, and the PRC as well. We noted that efficiency is the key to the power sector rather than tariff increment. And any tariff increment, whether it is 1%, 0.5%, will amount to a rewarding impunity
and also will serve as injustice to the Ghanaian consumer. The tariff rates in Ghana are already very high if you compare to those in the sub-region and Europe and in Africa, whether it is at household level or at even industrial level. At the manufacturing level, Ghana is at the top in terms of our tariffs. And so it doesn't, and that is what attributes to the high level of production costs in the manufacturing sector. So essentially, we were expecting that at least they will respond. At least the presidency responded to our petition, that they have referred the petition to the Honorable Minister of Energy. We're expecting that would have been called for us to dialogue more on this. Because we are not speaking for ourselves, we speak for industry, we speak for the food and beverage sector. But nothing like that was done.
So there was no engagement whatsoever with stakeholders or on this proposed tariff increases. That's what you're telling me.
As far as the food and beverage is concerned, there was no engagement after we presented our petition. There was an initial engagement by the PURC, including all other stakeholders. And we objected, and then we did not only object to the increment in tariff, but we also showed them the roadmap to the reform, to the power sector. If the president, and we indicated that His Excellency the President, in his campaign, said that he was coming in to reset Ghana generally, be it agri sector, be it trade sector, be it power sector. He said there was going to be a reset. A reset does not amount to tariff increment. Because that's the same thing that the Akufo-Addo government, Nana Akufo-Addo government did. And then essentially they were voted out of power. So if you campaign on the platform of reset and came in, and we have seen from January there was increment in tariffs. And then now you have also, it has been going on and on and on. And now you are talking about increment beginning January 2026, continual increment. Yet we have not received any indication of reforms in the power sector. The Minister of Energy has not come out to outline. Yes, we agree that there are weaknesses in the power sector. We agree that there are challenges in the ECG sector. This is 1, 2, 3 that we have done so far. This is 1, 2, 3 we are going to be doing in the next couple of months. So we have put them to correct it. We haven't done that. They just come and then they talk about increment. They have increased. That amount is taking the Ghanaian consumer for granted. That amount is taking the Ghanaian businessman for granted. Because we show them the roadmap, and then they are all very much aware. And I agree with us that if ECG works efficiently, power tariffs will rather reduce rather than going up. And they are very much aware. Because between them and their God, they know that the truth is that ECG is very, very inefficient. The power losses at 32%, the poor revenue collection at 43%. It's not something that warrants tariff increment. The solution to the power sector is not higher tariff. It's not increase in tariff. It's efficiency. And that's what we have spoken about. And that's what the government should have done and pursued. Rather than increasing tariffs, rewarding the corruption, rewarding the inefficiency, rewarding poor worker attitude, and then rewarding the daylight theft that is happening.
Very well.
We all saw what happened at the Public Accounts Committee. We saw the disgraceful figures, the blatant disgrace, the blatant inflation of contracts, cleaning fees, phone calls, all manner of expenses were inflated. They overran their budget by over 100%. Which institution does that and still get rewarded with increase in tariffs? It's just taking the Ghanaian consumer and the businessman for granted. And I think that we are very appalled and disappointed in the action of the PRC and, for that matter, the government as a whole.
Well, Reverend John Awuni, I'm sure that we would have further conversations on this, but thank you so much for engaging with us this afternoon. But still in business, country head of MPLE Insurance, Dr. Rafiq Daudi, has described Ghana's insurance sector as an emerging market brimming with untapped potential. He noted that while insurance coverage in Ghana has crossed the 45% mark, it still falls short of what is required to drive national transformation. Speaking during the official transitioning from Metropolitan Insurance to MPLE Insurance, Dr. Daudi argued that with effective strategies and innovations, insurance can help propel the country from a lower income status into a higher income economy.
Metropolitan Insurance, one of Ghana's oldest and highly recognized players in the insurance space, has taken a new identity, Empol Insurance. This transition represents a significant milestone in the country's evolution and underscores its renewed commitment to offering greater value and improved service to its clients. Speaking to the media after the transition, country head of Empol, Dr. Rafik Daudi, called for innovative strategies to maximize the untapped potential of the insurance industry.
Ghana is an emerging market, as you would know, and the Ghana's economy is fairly stable compared to the rest of Africa. And insurance penetration in Ghana is pretty low. If you look at insurance as a ratio of our GWP, we are talking about something under 1%. So it means that there's so much opportunity. Though insurance coverage has, grown significantly over the period, now estimated at around 45% of the population having insurance, but it's still not enough.
President of the Insurance Brokers Association of Ghana, Shaibu Ali, welcomed the rebrand, describing it as a move that will energize the insurance market.
I'm excited about this development, the entry of this new brand onto the Ghana market, taking over Metropolitan Life. It is something that would engineer a lot of activity in the industry. We look forward to what they bring on board, what technology, what innovation and all that they bring on board. A new takeover is always good because it brings about new energy and new drive, and people want to do the new things. And so I'm hopeful that Empol coming in is going to bring something new to the Ghana insurance industry.
Board chairman of Empol Ghana, Kodjo, on his part, highlighted that the rebrand signals a broader mission to elevate African excellence onto the global insurance stage.
We are already known already. We have established a legacy in the market. I mean, people know Metropolitan, So we are going to go a step further with this new acquisition by Empol Group. We are going to have access to the international network, and that will enable us to be able to bring on board some of the products that they have already trusted in countries like Nigeria onto this market. So watch out for this space. A lot of things are going to happen.
With renewed leadership commitments and industry-wide support, stakeholders say the rebrand positioned the company to drive deeper penetration, expand innovation, and contribute more meaningfully to Ghana's economic growth.
Well, that's your business this afternoon. It's time to bring you sports, and Benghazi standing by.
The Business Brief was brought to you by Compu Ghana, passion for technology.
And in sports, Ghana's Black Queens suffered a 2-0 defeat to England in an international friendly at the St. Mary's Stadium on Tuesday night. When Lucia Kendall reacted quickest to a loose ball in the box of the Ghana team and scored from close range. Goalkeeper Cynthia Conlan made important saves, including stopping Missy Boken from close range as England pushed for a second goal in the encounter. Ghana improved as the match wore on, growing bolder in midfield and exchanges and threatening on the counter. England, however, sealed the win with a stoppage time when substitute Alicia Russo won a penalty with a handball and converted it to make it 2-0 for the English team. Now, Coach Kim Las's team, of course, were good, and he praised his response from the players, emphasizing their perspective and progress in a game against England yesterday.
We knew that we were facing maybe the best team in the world right now. We did it an away game, a cold away game. You can hear it from my voice. That was tough. It was rainy. It was cold. It was difficult sometimes for the players that are used to play on a little bit harder pitches. You can see that they were on the ground a couple of times because of that.
Yeah.
But they were fighting for 90 plus minutes. We were staying in the game for the whole time, so I'm extremely happy over what they did. Many people thought that it's going to be 10, 11, 12-0 for England, but I said the whole time, and we are talking in the group, we are the Black Queens, okay? So it means that we are not just here to be like cones that someone runs around. We are here to take the fight, and then what the result will be, we didn't know. Okay, but we're here to take the fight. We're here to tackle. We're here to try to do our best, and I think we did.
The Black Queens coach came last speaking with my colleague Monica Bukari in Southampton. Let's go on. FIFA have unveiled a world-class entertainment lineup for Friday's final draw for the upcoming World Cup 2026, now which is set to take place at historic John F. Kennedy Center for Performing Arts in Washington, D.C. at 17 hours GMT, with millions of viewers spread to around the globe to follow and show. And indeed, we are ready for the big tournament coming up this year. That's the FIFA World Cup coming through. And the show will be hosted by supermodel and producer and Emmy-winning television personality Heidi Klum, together with Kevin Hart, one of the most successful comedians and actors of the generation, and actor and producer Danny Ramirez, who will bring warmth and Hollywood flair to this highly anticipated event on the road for this year's World Cup, to be held next year, I should say, in June and July in USA, Mexico, and Canada. And that's it for Sport Up Next International.
Now, close to 100,000 people in northern Mozambique have been forced to flee. Groups stormed their villages, burning homes and attacking civilians in Nampula province. Schools, churches and open spaces are crowded with newly arrived families. This is the fourth massive influx of displaced people in recent months, and it's putting pressure on already fragile host communities. The insurrection of fighters affiliated with the so-called Islamic State has already displaced more than 1.3 million people since it began in Cabo Delgado, the country's northernmost state, in 2017. Now, since the start of the year, attacks have spread into Nampula and Nisa provinces, bringing violence closer to communities that had previously hosted displaced families. The United Nations Refugee Agency, UNHCR, says it will need close to $40 million next year to meet rising needs in the region. This year, funding stands at just 50% of the required amount. In the meantime, the agency says overcrowded shelters and the lack of responses forcing some people to return to unsafe areas. Well, that's all in the package this afternoon. Grateful for your company. I am Joshua. Kodjo Mensah. Good afternoon.